let's jump in here and service this quick release eclipse style vise. So the first step in servicing one of these is to actually clean everything up. But what we had issues with was this piece here slipping and not engaging, and what I did last time was just clean it all up and then re-put it together. So hopefully that's all that's going to be required here today. So I'm just going to fully open this thread up. Like so. I'm going to clean, you see there's a bunch of dirt and stuff in here. So I'm just going to use automotive window cleaner, denatured alcohol, just something that's going to clean it up but not leave any residue behind. So essentially as part of doing this, you can just spin the thread around like this, clean it all from one spot, and kind of getting as much of the garbage out of the thread as possible. As part of this, I'm kind of removing that very thin layer of grease that's there as well, which helps to lubricate the entire system. You could use oil, but it doesn't last long enough, so just a residue of any sort of bearing grease, something like that, is what I used on this one. If you have nylon bristled brushes, a toothbrush actually works really well for getting into these pieces here, and that can actually dislodge a lot of that dirt. And we'll just quickly clean that down. So with this nice and clean, I now just got to dry these threads out. Because we don't want anything left in there that'll cause problems with the grease adhering to this thread. So let's quickly deal with a little bit of rust on our two support pins. So we can see it's worse on this side. Now I'm not looking to really remove it, just bring it smooth again. So it's still a little rough here. And ideally I'd like to go with the grain of the metal, but because it's circular, this is really the only way I can get enough force on it. So that's all smoothed out now, so we'll do the other side. Just here. So that's all smoothed out now. So with that smoothed out, I'm going to wind this mechanism back on a little bit. And what I'm going to do is just take this cover here off now. When you do this, you've got to be careful with the spring that's up under here. These are not done up very tight. So I'm actually just going to keep my weight down on this as I undo these. Don't lose these. If you have one of these little metal parts bins, just drop it in there so you don't lose it. Now I just felt that move as I was undoing this. So with that like that, I'm actually going to drop one of these screws back in here. And that should stop this spring releasing while I clean the other piece. So you can see this is just full of old grease. No real sign of massive wear. So we just got to clean that out, and I'll add some new grease back into that in a second. So I'm just running my finger in here now. And this is the piece where the bar comes in, and you can see that burrs a little bit. So this is actually a wear point, and you can see that it will eventually wear through, but it's going to last a very long time before you have an issue with that. I've got some grease here. So this happens to be high heat grease. It doesn't really matter what grease. Normally I just use the blue stuff. So what you want to do is get very little of this grease in here. You actually don't need much, and that's almost too much residue, so I'm just gonna quickly wipe over. You don't want much, you just want a little bit there. Reason I don't like to leave too much grease there is that it'll pick up dirt, and dirt is going to wear that thread and cause your issues once again. So I like to only have a very light residue there. We'll add another light residue to the thread of the entire thing, which we're going to do right now before we put this back together. So because that tension's held there, I can then come in on the rest here and just sort of get a light residue. While it's not attached to anything, you can actually just free spin it. So it's much easier to grease it up like this without the mechanism on it. So we just free spin it, run your fingers up and down. Don't forget down in here. Right at the very back, I don't worry about too much, but you can still grease it up there. I'm never really fully opening this vise, so it's not too much of an issue. And so after I've done that, just come back in with a piece of paper towel and just take that excess. I'm not looking to get it all off. I'm just wiping it to get the very loose excess off, because this is not going to push right into the whole thread. While we're here, we're going to grab a little light residue and run it on these bars here. On both sides. Very light residue once again. This helps to stop these rusting, makes them move nice and smoothly, and stops stuff sticking to them. So you just want to get them right along. If you need to slide this, you can. Just be careful. Now on these, I don't actually rub the paper towel back over these. My glove's going to be enough of that. So now I'm going to move this right back here, and we can proceed to take this one back out and put it back together. So you got to hold your tension and then line this back up onto this piece. Oh no, that is not good. Uh-oh. I dropped the whole thing. That's not what I wanted to do. Give me a moment, I'm going to have to hold this and pick it up at the same time. Luckily it's a small workshop. Angle it so it gets in there. And then push this all together. Now we're back where this should be. And we can get these nuts in. These little bolts. Once we've got them started, you won't lose the tension. And then snug these up nice and tight. And now we just want to check. So this is definitely disengaging, it's lifting it up. So we can see that's working. And then it's re-engaging and sliding. Now, one last thing I want to do, to stop wear on that little slot that's in here, we're going to run just a light bead of grease. Just along this edge here. And with this one I do just wipe the excess off. You just want a residue sitting there just to help the whole lot slide, and you can already see it's sliding easier. Now, all that's left to do, now that I've done the service, is to put it back up under the bench. Technically, you could do it under your bench, but it's so much easier to drop it out, especially when it's only held by 4 bolts, or 4, in this case, coach screws. I've got the face here bedded up underneath here, which I have shown once before. And so it's bedded up behind my giant Jarrah jaw. That's why I've got a giant Jarrah jaw on it. And it's just held with 4 of these bolts, or 4 of these coach screws. So now's the moment of truth. That's moving really nicely. It's engaging. So let's put this block back in here. Do it up nice and tight like we were before. Does it release? Perfect release. Once more. Perfect. So there you have it, folks. As you can see, we've now fixed it up just with a little bit of servicing. It's more about getting the dirt out of the threads and then just re-greasing it up with a little bit of grease to allow it all to slide perfectly. And that stops things jamming and releasing when they shouldn't. And as you can see, that problem out on this far side down here where I clamped stuff and then the quick release lever was just going click, 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 click and releasing when it shouldn't, is now fixed. And now the face vise is back into full perfect operation, and now you know how to fix that issue if you have that similar issue. Even without these quick release things with the threads, it's always a good idea to drop your vices out, give them a good clean, get a lot of that grime and crap out of the thread, re-grease them, and it's going to work so much better. Just on the thread now, this is just moving way more effortlessly because it's lubricated and not just running on bits of grit and dust that are stuck in there. So if you like this video, please do like and subscribe down below. While you're down there, do sound off in the comments if you've had this similar issue, and let me know what other maintenance you might do on your face vices if this didn't solve your problem. What other issues do you have? Because if there's some other issue that you've had with this vise that I can talk you through in correcting if I've solved the problem myself, do let me know. And if you'd like to see another great maintenance video such as the one you've seen here today, do check out the video of the regular maintenance that I do on my hand planes to help prevent rust and just moisture causing issues. Bye for now.